You're listening to a Meatsmith Harvest. This is the podcast that encourages and equips you to grow your home around the harvest. Welcome, Meatsmiths. This dialogue picks up where we left off in our last episode's conversation. You can find part 1 on our website, YouTube, or iTunes. If the content resonates with you, please consider supporting our team by going to patreon.com/Meatsmith and donating a small monthly pledge. This goes directly toward more free media headed your way. Thanks for staying tuned for part 2. Well, I wanted to briefly talk about, you've said this before to lots of people, and that is discussing the aggressiveness of it, because it is kind of a foreign, we're taught, like, if you play sports, be aggressive, or be...
Not anymore. That was the 90s, babe.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That was my high school volleyball experience. Be aggressive, give it everything you've got. But, in modern culture, where we've been toned down a little bit.
We have.
But, so anyway, but dealing with live creatures, especially this passive aggressivity is taught to us. So just be really passive and, but this is not the time and the place for that.
No.
And really, I don't know if there's any time and place for it. Because it's not that there's not a tender spot in you.
Right.
But for the sake of the dignity of this animal, you have to be assertive.
Decisive.
Yeah. And that is merciful.
Yeah.
Maybe we've said this before.
It is.
But it's a strange mystery that killing it in the right way is a merciful act, and you have to own it. Yeah. And if you are too wishy-washy or hesitant, or I don't want to hurt him.
You don't want to be tentative. Yeah.
Then you will. You'll end up making the whole experience not as smooth.
It's no favor to the sheep.
Yeah.
To be reticent or polite.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, no. I would define politeness differently, I guess. But it's no favor to the sheep. It's...
And also, along that vein, this is the time to leave aside all notions that this is about you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about the sheep. It's about, I don't know, fill in the blank yourself. It's about feeding my family. It's about growing up a little bit and like earning my humanity. It's about whatever. There's lots of meaningful things to give this, but it's not about tiptoeing and...
Well, I think it's... what I find is it actually helps me to think it is about the sheep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That means that I'm at the service of the sacrifice. I'm at the service of the sheep.
Right.
And the thing this sheep needs is the lights out in a calm way, quickly, decisively. No reticence, no partial cuts, no sewing, no dull knives. It's as far as I can, as far as I'm able, no unsuccessful attempts at grabbing the sheep. Minimal battle, minimal scramble when it comes to getting the takedown and laying it down on its side. So if you do have trouble with it, I feel and it's a little bit of you feel this reticence or this reluctance at even forcefully handling an animal. Just think about the animal. You need to do it for the animal's sake. It's not actually about the way you feel. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Because that will cripple you totally. Because maybe you haven't integrated fully the notion that you are a killer for your survival. That you have this aggressive capacity inside of you to take the life of another thing. And you don't even have to fully integrate that conceptually before you do it physically, I would argue. In fact, there is a grace, I think, in just doing it, because it is a reality. You're operating within the bounds of what is real. You've just been estranged from it because it's been obfuscated by the slaughterhouse walls. It all happens behind there, and you never see it. But really, you need to remember that there's don't worry about yourself that time.
And it's not to say that, that you're not a part of the whole process and the whole event, because you are, obviously. Like we were just saying, there's a thoughtfulness and a thankfulness about it, but maybe that time comes later.
Yeah.
Get the job done first, and then you can process it in your mind.
And a good rule is there's no such thing as overkill.
Okay.
When you're killing a sheep or a goat.
We've said that about
1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I get it. I mean, we're just, so many of us, I was, until I started doing this for a living, just estranged from the force that it takes to achieve a death, to kill something. Mm-hmm. Even animals, like it's actually one of the blessings of domesticity on the human and the animal level, is that we lose the ability to kill things. Mm-hmm. Some dogs can't kill things.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They can't. They don't have it in them. They have a soft mouth. That's a thing. Like a pit bull, or some of them, they can. They can go all the way to the death. And that's a different thing. There's no such thing as overkill.
Okay.
So handle the sheep decisively and calmly. And I find when you aren't thinking about the way you're feeling, you're much more able to do that. Yeah. And think about the task at hand. Put yourself at the service of the sacrifice, which is so interesting. This is the difference between a salesman, or I only know it in religious terms, like a pandering revivalist pastor, and an Old Testament priest.
Sure.
Okay. Or even any kind of liturgical priestly act, it's not for the audience, it's not for the spectators, it's not delivering a message that they have come up with, that the clouds parted and they have a revelation and now they can divulge it to others. The priest is in an office. He is serving an office, an official role. He has nothing to do with everybody else or his own genius. Mm-hmm. He's a tool. He's at the service of the sacrifice. Yeah. He has a ceremonial office to perform. Uh-huh. And that, I think, is a good way to think about it.
He's earning his keep.
He's
doing a job. I mean,
historically,
feeding people. I mean, there's more to it than that, but
yeah,
he's not just speaking inspirational lectures.
No. Yeah. It's a different deal. And you'll find that if you handle a sheep this way, if you're able to do it properly, all the things you've said, calm lead up, no chasing, decisive, firm handling, smooth takedown, and transition to, keeping the legs up, the animal's laying on its side. The sheep will be silent before its slaughter. Mm-hmm. It won't be shouting. It won't be yelling out.
It's amazing. You have been able to let go completely. Mm-hmm. Let the animal. I mean, really, you're not touching it. It is laying there. It has completely given up. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's a surrender. Rather mystical too, but it's just there and it's breathe. You can see it breathing still. It's waiting. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long it would stay there. Yeah, but you've submitted it. It's silent. Silent before its slaughter. Yeah, and if you observe this and you don't reflect on it, I don't. It's
well, we could give the materialist answer to that, which would just be, well, you've just disoriented it. It's laying down and it's confused. Okay, which only as a premise rejects the interesting part of the question, which is why does disorientation look like that? Yeah, right. Why does it convey a meaning to our brains of surrender or submission? That's where it gets interesting. Yeah, you're right. Let's not just stop at what the material systems are doing. Yeah, that's just part of the, that's just the boring old. What is that? The formal cause. Yes. And the material cause. Material cause. Yeah. But we've got the final cause to think about.
The efficient cause and the final cause.
Which is particularly where things actually get interesting. Yeah. So you've got the sheep down. I think
Okay.
we covered that.
Yes.
Sheep is submitted, or the goat. Goats will be a little more vocal. Just so you know, when you lay them down, even if you really do everything right, they might yell at you a little bit. And again, you're going to have to use your discernment. If you foresee that the animal is just going to start panicking increasingly more and more, the longer it lays down, then you just need to take the life. And to deliver the death, to kill the sheep or the goat, what I do is use a very sharp knife. So this is the preparation for your lamb slaughter, is sharpen your knife.
Yeah, when you said that at the beginning, like the majority of the work happens before the kill.
Yeah.
This is really what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the sharp knife.
Yeah.
And because if your knife is dull, so this is what I say, I could make some arguments about why doing it with just a knife is better than with the gun. And you could intuit a lot of them just from what we've said. Like I do like the docile participating in the kill with the sheep in a way that the sheep sort of understands. You're a predator, you're manhandling it, and you're going to deliver death to its throat.
Yeah.
Like that's how it happens for caprines in the wild. If there are, or ovines. So there's what was I saying? Oh yes, if I can make lots of arguments for that, and even University of Miami, and I think it was an entirely halal funded study, so we don't know how. So they definitely had an interest in a certain result.
Okay.
Because governments around the world tend to give halal butcheries a hard time for their halal methods.
Okay.
Which is just death by knife. Same with kosher.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what I practice.
Yeah.
But they attached sensors to the brains to track consciousness and pain of sheep and goats. And they delivered the deaths both by captive bolt and then by kosher halal method, a slit to the throat. And in the case of the slit to the throat, they registered less consciousness and less pain. Or less pain.
Shorter consciousness and
because
less pain.
It's more violent to behold because it's just this effusion of blood and they convulse immediately. They're kicking. But it's an effusion of blood. So they pretty much evacuate their blood supply very quickly. And you'll see their pupils dilate quickly. They pass out, basically.
Yeah. Their life is gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the argument of the study was a little bit that, the impact of a bullet to the head is significant and can even be felt, by a creature whose head is designed for impact. But
and once again, these animals have hide, not skin. So if you're
Right.
cutting the hide, that has an effect too. You're not like if we were cut on the throat, we'd feel a lot more than if we had a hide. So there's that.
They don't have nerve endings in their skin everywhere, sensing touch as much as we do. But even with all that, it's hard to argue with a bullet to the brain. It just scrambles your brains, lights out.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, if your knife is dull and you're reasonably certain which is by no means a certainty, you're certain you can shoot the lamb successfully, shoot the lamb. It's really whichever one you're better at, more confident at. And it sounds weird, but the reason I'm more confident with the knife because it's more direct, it's more intimate. I have more control. I'm cutting there. I can't miss that target as long as my knife is sharp. A gun introduces the whole variable of accuracy.
Yeah.
And a moving target. And where do you shoot? And it's basically in between eyes and ear. But it's not in between the eyes. It's above. And depending on the shape of your sheep's head, that's not incredibly obvious. You might have to be at kind of a weird angle, and then they're moving a lot.
Their skulls are hard and thick.
But that's not to say you can't get good at it. I mean, of course, I would think pigs are much more difficult to shoot than sheep.
You haven't invested the time in that.
Yeah,
so
I haven't. It's a skill that is developed by many people, and slaughter can be done very well that way. But I really do like the intimacy and the proximate control that I have when I submit a sheep and then deliver the cut with a crazy sharp knife. So if you're sawing, your knife is not sharp. Should be no sawing at a goat or a sheep's neck.
Yeah.
None of that. One stroke.
Yeah.
One swipe. Yeah. And that swipe should take you all the way down to spine. All the way. And if that sounds crazy, it's just you haven't experienced sharpness yet. It's not that crazy, actually.
Yeah.
It's quite easy with a sharp knife. And that's why, we give to people that attend the class Murray Carter's DVD on how to sharpen a knife.
Mm-hmm. You can buy it on his website too.
Yeah.
But
can you buy it on ours?
I think at one point you could.
Oh, okay.
I think you still can.
Yeah.
But that was one of our first podcast episodes, actually. And we don't have it on YouTube. Oh. But it is on iTunes. It's like we put it in first things.
Knife sharpening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time you used Murray's methods after you had struggled for months and maybe years at just kind of random YouTube videos and little gadgets to sharpen knives, and you just weren't getting it.
No.
And you knew you needed to just crack the code. Well, Murray helped you crack the code.
Big time.
And the first thing you did with your knife after you did that was you slaughtered a sheep.
Yeah.
And it was startling.
Night and day.
It was like knife through butter.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I had seen you, I mean, I don't want to say you was sawing, but it was almost like that.
I'll tell you what I did. No, it was with a dull knife. And you just don't, that's a good point. You don't know until you have a sharp knife what is possible.
Yeah.
You really don't. And so your ignorance is, you're innocent. You almost have perfect ignorance there.
But we're here to evangelize.
But once you've experienced it, then you are forever responsible thereafter to have a scary sharp knife on kill day.
Yeah.
If your knife is dull, you end up stabbing because the only sharp point on your knife is the tip.
Yeah.
So you stab in first, and then you turn the knife down, and then you saw down, and then you turn it back around, you saw up to get out of the hide.
And you're just frantic at this point because you want to get it over so quickly.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And the sheep is struggling against you and moving, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So,
who was it? Abraham Lincoln that said,
"Oh yeah,
if I need to cut down a tree, give me 6 hours, and I'll use 5 of it sharpening the axe."
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it is. I mean, it doesn't take 5 hours to sharpen a knife.
Yeah.
But,
man, if it did, it would still be worth it. It's night and day.
I mean, you have spent a couple hours on a knife before.
Oh, yeah.
Like a brand new one that needed to be thinned. And it's worth it.
Yep.
Because it makes the whole event happen in just a couple seconds.
Yeah. And so what you aim for when you're delivering that kill with your scary sharp knife is the larynx.
Okay.
Feel for the Adam's apple. Feels exactly like yours. It's a big, easy target.
Huh. Well, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I aim for that is because it lines you right up with the Alice vertebrae. So when you go down and you're going through the hide, through the carotid and jugular arteries, through the neck muscle, through the larynx and the trachea to which it is attached, all the way down to spine. And it's right where the skull meets the spine. So it's you're actually beginning the decapitation when you take the head off later. It's going to be on that exact line, and so it's a culinary decision. It means that you have a full length neck roast, the full lamb neck.
Oh, that's right.
Without a big gash in the middle of it where the kill cut was. So you really want to go all the way. It's not right behind the jaws. It's pretty close though, but your best target is feel for the larynx. And, some of your sheep are going to be woolly and you will not see the larynx at all. And you're going to have to part it with your left. I do it with what do I do it with? No, my right hand. Because I'm holding the sheep's head.
Okay.
Parting the wool just to feel hide. And then once I feel where the larynx is, that's where I go.
You go right on the tip of the larynx.
Yeah.
Like you're really trying to aim for it.
Yeah.
Trying to find mine.
Yeah, maybe just below the tip, I guess.
Okay.
By an eighth
towards
of an
your
inch.
body.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have a scabbard on you too to make this easier.
Have a scabbard.
Yeah, it's not expensive.
Yeah.
But that way you're not like fishing for your sharp knife in the middle of a grassy
Yeah,
plain.
No. Yeah, and then the moment you cut it, you like drop the knife in the mud, and there goes your scary sharpness for the rest of the day.
Which you'll need for the skinning.
That's right.
Yeah.
So scabbard yourself.
Yeah.
Please use a scabbard.
Yeah.
And it's more like a holster. You know, if you just go online, butcher's scabbard or knife holster, it's big. It's not like you're fishing a knife into a tiny little thin leather sheath. Yeah. It's just in and out. It's really quick. Yeah. Gravity holds it there.
Do you have any other sort of gear on your person when you do this?
Just my clown suit. You know, I have my bib overalls and muck boots. And sometimes I like to put a towel on the chain that holds my scabbard so I can wipe the blood off of the knife.
Right.
Yeah. Because Aslan told Peter to wipe the blood off of his knife. I think it's a good liturgical practice.
Yeah.
Is to take the blood off your knife. Plus, once it dries there, it'll be a pain in the ass.
It'll rust.
It's a harder thing to clean.
Yeah.
But if you get it off while it's still wet and moist, it'll just wipe right off.
The hunt is up.
How many people do you know you would say truly share your back to the land values? Or your passion for home-scale craft meat curing? Or simply love the multifaceted beauty of a good meal as obsessively as you do? Maybe a handful? At farmsteadmeatsmithcom, we've created an online community of hundreds of omnivores from around the world and a platform for them to learn from and inspire one another. In addition to our major semi-annual hands-on educational event, The Family Pig, here at our Pacific Northwest homestead, over at farmsteadmeatsmith.com, we host a purely digital membership program with an archive of film and textual resources years deep now, for you to dive deeper into your food journey with. And both our classes and online program include access to our private community Facebook page for your continued education and fellowship. We've been told that our classes are life-changing and the membership program unparalleled in quality and quantity. To get a taste of our education, search farmsteadmeatsmith.com and our YouTube channel for our free films, conversations, and downloads. Explore how we and other meatsmiths across the globe may best come alongside you, putting the knife in your hand, article by article, and comment thread by comment thread, and can support you in building your home around the harvest. Please head to farmsteadmeatsmith.com today.
I think we should come to a close with this. I mean, we've given this the attention it deserves. And I don't think if we go on to skinning and evisceration, it's going to be a 3-hour podcast. So we can't do that.
All right. Then I have one more thing to mention.
I do have a couple more too. But good. Go ahead.
So the one more thing is don't let go of the sheep after you deliver the kill.
Okay, right. Yes.
It happens.
Yeah.
And in spite of all the things we've said, our best efforts, the cut still hurts. It does.
I know.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Death hurts every time. And we've done our best with a crazy sharp knife. This is the burden of being an omnivore, is that you dare to inflict pain and death on another thing. And so you need to keep a hold of the sheep or the goat right after you've delivered that kill. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm still holding their head very firmly on the ground. And my knee is just hovering over their shoulder area. I'm not pushing down on them. It's hovering so that I can kind of feel their body rise if they happen to get a leg beneath them.
Yeah.
Just so I know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And but you need to keep your hand on them, scabbard your knife real quick and again, don't push down on the body, just hold it back so the legs are up in the air. They're not straight up, but they're just off the ground.
Yeah.
By a few inches. That's all it takes. And by pulling on that flank a little bit. And just keep a good tight hold on them. And, I've never timed it. And almost every time I kill a sheep, I feel like, gosh, I should time this so I could talk about this. But you'll see immediately streams of blood. 2. You want to see 2. So that's how you know you got a good cut. And by that, when we're talking about the kill cut, we're opening it up.
Ear to ear or jawline to jawline.
It's all the way across the neck. completely all the way down to the spine. It's a huge gash. It'll happen instantly with your scary sharp knife. You'll just completely open them up, and you want to see 2 streams. And, you might even see them shooting out like 6 feet.
Yeah.
The heart will just be pumping it out. And if you don't, you might have to go look real close, peel back wool or whatever's blocking your view. And if you see 2 streams, you just want to see two streams of blood, the jugular arteries pumping blood out of the sheep.
And like you said, there's no such thing as overkill. So
Right.
if you're not sure, then the faster we can get that blood out, the faster it'll all be over.
Exactly. Yeah. So you only see 1 stream. Go in with a knife.
Yeah.
Find that other one.
Yeah.
And nick that other artery to get 2 full freshets of blood.
So you want to stay kind of near it because at this point, could it get up and just run away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So you need to still hold it.
That would not be good.
No. Yeah. It would be visually horrifying to everyone.
Yeah.
And so it's really more for the dignity of the sheep
Yeah.
that you keep it down and for your own, sensitive mind.
Yeah. And this is different a little bit than a pig because a pig, you try to make just a little tiny hole. I mean, you've gotten good at it. It used to be not quite so minuscule, but culinarily, that's a good choice to make.
Yeah, pig is different.
With a pig, it's the same thing you're cutting, but with the lamb, you really just open it up.
You're opening it up.
Yeah.
And so with the knife, it depends on the swipe. I like to swipe away from me.
Blade away from you.
Yeah.
Stick it in, and then.
Well, yes. It actually ends up being the blade is pointing towards me.
Oh, okay.
Tip is with my handle on the other side of the neck, and you draw away from you.
Okay.
1 draw stroke.
Because the head is up towards you, so you almost like if the lamb weren't there, you'd be jabbing yourself.
That's right.
You're like jabbing up.
Don't do that.
From the left side of the head, the lamb's left side to its right side.
Away from you. Yeah.
So when you
Swipe
bring
away.
the whole, if you have a longer knife, will it go actually through the whole neck first, and then the whole blade comes out? Do you know what I mean?
No, it's top down. Pretty much every knife, even a 6-incher, is going to be a little wider than a lamb neck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just holding it down and swipe away like that, away from your body.
Oh, so the blade is away from you.
Yes, but the handle is, it's like this. Here's the blade's like this. Do we have a knife here? In this shop, do we have a knife?
I have like 40 over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend this is
The lamb neck?
the lamb neck.
All right.
And this is the eyes.
Yeah, I'm holding it down like
the
this.
eyes are looking down.
And it's away from me.
Yes.
I'm down like this, holding it. That's the swipe.
Okay.
Away.
And its neck is up and its back is down.
And its head is over here.
Okay, do it one more time.
Because if it's like this,
Yes.
you're going into you.
Yeah.
And that's a little freaky, so you like to do it away.
Yeah.
The only time, sometimes I have found myself holding it like this, and you can only do that if your knife is crazy sharp and you're still going away from you. You start here, and you go like that.
Yes.
And that does the cut.
Yeah.
Just cut the motion of your stroke away from self.
Yeah. Good point, because the lamb it's still alive.
That's right.
It could do something
It'll
crazy.
kick. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you just want your hand to finish going away from you.
Yeah.
Away.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so sometimes they kick immediately. Well, not all the time. Yeah. Sometimes they kick immediately. You swipe, and you don't even have time to put your knife away. And so you control them by holding their head in the same spot. You're really anchoring it to the ground.
Yeah.
And your knee is hovering over them,
Just in a ready
and keeping
position.
their head anchored is controlling their legs, believe it or not. In that awkward neck up position, they can't twist their spine enough to get their legs underneath them.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'm just kind of there with my knife up like this, and they'll do the first couple kicks, and then I have a minute to put it away, and I can hold them for the rest of the convulsions, which may last like a minute. And you'll see, though, they bleed out long streams of blood And there'll be an initial struggle, which is it's the felt pain of the cut that they're reacting to instantly. And that's very quick, that's just a quick struggle. And then you'll see their blood pressure drop as they have no more blood in their body, and the streams will wane, the streams of blood, and then death throes will start. Maybe they'll close their eyes or their pupils will dilate, and that's when they start to convulse. And these are random. There's nobody home, They're random convulsions, and the legs are kicking. And at that point, you just tip them back. You don't try to restrain the legs. Don't hold them down. Just, again, hold that flank, tip them up. So their legs are just kicking like this. Watch your face, because they can reach up there with that back leg of theirs.
Yeah.
And
but this is why it's not the slow, calm eyes rolling in the back of the head.
Right.
Like
from Captain Fantastic.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Everything convulses, even if it's a bullet to the brain.
Right.
Everything has death throes.
Death is death.
Yeah.
You can collect blood at this point.
You can.
If you wanted to.
Yeah, you can.
While the streams are streaming.
Yep.
Have a whisk and a bowl ready and someone that's willing to stir it.
Yeah. Or even just have them use their hand.
Yeah.
You just need to keep the blood moving so it doesn't coagulate in the bowl.
Yeah.
And you can make excellent blood sausage from sheep. You probably wouldn't even notice it's from a sheep. Blood pretty much tastes the same, in my experience, across the animals.
Yeah.
So there's one final thing I like to do. The convulsions, there's that initial reaction to the pain, which is very quick. Then the freshet wanes, the flow of blood, and then a few good convulsive kicking, a little bit of kicking, and then sometimes they have this tremor that's really like the end.
Okay.
And that's when they kind of stiffen their muscles and they shake.
Huh.
And it depends, honestly, it depends on how many sheep I'm doing that day. But actually, no, I think I do this all the time now. After the initial, there's the pain, when the blood flow wanes, when it goes down, signaling to me that we've gotten 90% of the blood that we're going to get out of this animal. We're just not going to get any more. Then I will actually break the neck right at the atlas and nick the spinal cord with my knife because it exposes it. And this is just an expediting measure that you can do so that you can carry on with the skinning just a little sooner.
Okay.
Because the sooner you take out the spinal cord, it does reduce just a little bit the time that the animal will convulse.
Okay.
Doing those random autonomic death throes. So after we've gotten pretty much all the blood out, maybe a little bit of convulsion, I hold the base of the neck, or the base, I guess at the top of the neck, right where the head meets the neck, right where you made the cut, but on the opposite side. So you're touching wool or hide. And then you hold the jaw, go under the jaw with your other hand, and anchor the neck to the ground and pull the jaw straight up. And you're just snapping the skull off of the spine, basically. And you're exposing, you'll see in the atlas vertebrae, the spinal cord. And you can just slip your knife in there. And when you nick it, the animal will jump. It'll do a jump. And then that'll pretty much be it for the convulsions.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a few little ones, but you're not going to be sitting there for 3 or 5 minutes kind of waiting for the convulsions to finally fully be done, because you do want to wait. You don't want to be you don't want a little twitch or a kick while you're skinning, because it's lots of knife close to hand action, and any little twitch could get you. And just out of the dignity of the animal, you want it, let's kill it all the way. Let it be no signs of life, completely dead before we start the harvest.
Yeah. Not mostly dead.
Right.
As in,
Yeah.
Princess Bride.
Yeah.
We want it all the way dead.
Yeah.
We want to go through its pockets and look for loose change.
Yeah.
I can't think of I don't know how much to say here, but watching you kill a sheep the first time ever, which was I think on your parents' property. I think you had done some already.
I had done it at Seabees, yeah.
But just a few times. I mean, you were still kind of getting your sea legs with that. You were learning as you went.
Yep.
But you were gung-ho. You were like, yeah, I'm learning this, so I'm going to do it. And so you were still learning, and you did, your parents had some sheep. And I saw you do it. And I think the first time I can't remember if it was the very first time I helped or what, but I saw you kill a sheep. And I was kind of at a distance. I was watching from the house, and you were way out in the field on the table. And I don't know. It was amazing. It was really amazing. It made me have a whole new respect for you and admire you, dare I say.
Well, that's why we do this.
It's such a masculine strength thing, and I'm not saying that you dominated the animal, but you were also tender with it. You know, I mean, it's a delicate balance, and
yeah, it is.
It was like I just saw you shine in that moment, and I mean, you've been doing the same thing ever since. But I just have to say that because it's remarkable. It's like, you know, you watch those human documentaries and you see what humans are made for, and you're really proud to be a human because you're like, oh, we can do great things. You know, we're not used to seeing such magnanimity. You know, I mean, I guess we do. We just have to have eyes to see it. I guess, you know, and it's easy in American culture to get lost in the muck and the mire that we all are in sometimes.
Well, yeah, kind of find out. We're so comfortable.
Yeah.
We're not tested a lot.
But yes, killing a sheep, I saw you in a new light, and I was struck.
Well, on that note.
Well, no, I have one more thing to say. Neil, he is a member, and he's also a Patreon supporter of this podcast, and he sent us a Patreon question.
Excellent.
Specifically for this recording. So I wanted to answer it, even though... Okay, so it had to do with the gambrel that's sitting behind us. He wanted... And we get this question dozens of times a year. I mean, it's just... and it's a good question. So he wanted to know how big of a gambrel should we get? And
I think it's because people can't believe how big my gambrel is.
I know.
I think that's why, because I use the biggest one for all the animals.
Yeah.
And the reason I can do that is because of its design. See, it can't even fit in our screen.
Yeah.
There it is. So this...
Oh, you're hitting the sausage above us.
They're good. This is the gambrel you want. Meathook.us.
No, meathook.us.com.
Meathook.us.com. This man, there's a man, represented at that website that makes these.
Yeah, it's just another mom and pop.
And it's a work of art.
Yeah.
He's a genius. He's a rare genius. It's made of stainless steel. And the thing about it is it has the hooks independent of the gambrel.
I might feel a little loud for that.
Yeah. The hooks are independent of the gambrel.
Yes.
Okay? Which means that it's almost, let's just go ahead and say it. It's a one-size-fits-all gambrel. Mine happens to be 31 inches long. And that's from this loop to this one. Neil, that's 31 inches long. But I can go way wider than that. Not that there's such an animal that exists, but because of this.
That's right.
See how it swings out?
It can come out.
And I can go way smaller than that because of that. Because the hook swings independently of the gambrel. And so I actually use this gambrel for everything except for rabbits. It's a little too big for rabbits.
You're crazy. Sorry.
I use bacon hooks for rabbits.
Yeah.
They're good rabbit gambrels.
Yeah.
So
but beef?
Yes, I do cows on this. It is a beef gambrel.
Yes.
Properly understood. It's a beef gambrel.
It's called their Super Duty Hog Beef Gambrel.
Oh, good name.
I looked it up this morning.
Yeah. That's what it is.
And it's 31 inches, and I forget every time someone asks me how big it is, because you even said, I think it's 36. And I'm like, no, it could be 28.
I said I think it's 30.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I said 36. But I got a tape measure out and I measured it, darn it, because I wanted to get the right size.
Yeah.
Because he has a couple options on there.
Right.
But this one works well for us, for everything.
It's excellent. And you could be a few inches smaller and you still do beef on it.
It's the same thickness of steel, I believe.
Yes, that's right. It's very heavy duty and I love it. And I use it on a 20-pound sheep.
Yeah.
It'll fit the tiniest little tiny goatling you've got because these hooks can swing inwise and outwise to accommodate any critter you're killing.
You'd think that some of the big industrial meat processing equipment sources would have thought of this design. But you can't find this design other than on this little one-off website, which is the circular nature of the ends, allowing, because the main point of this is that you can take one side of your animal off and the whole gambrel doesn't fall on you.
That's right. So especially if you're splitting an animal down its spine in the field, which you may very well do with anything bigger than a sheep or a goat. I usually don't split them, but pigs or maybe even venison, you might do
big
that
ones,
in the field.
You have split big like rams.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, huge monsters, and that means that for the home setup, it's hard to underestimate the value of being able to take off one side, shoulder it, take it to wherever you're going to put it, and the other side doesn't drop in the dirt. You don't have to take them off at the same time. And that's what this design facilitates.
Yeah.
It's very good.
So we won't be able to talk about that part of the process because we got to wrap up. Okay. But maybe this is a little foretaste of maybe the next time we record, we'll talk about the latter part of sheep harvesting, which is skinning and evisceration.
That's right.
And maybe splitting.
Yeah.
So
skinning is an art.
Yeah.